what should young professionals look for, or like how should they identify whether they should work for a firm, big or small, or whether they should start their own thing?
I think that's a very personal choice, and it really comes down to you on your own. Working at a big firm has its own advantage. It's a structured process. You know what your environment you are in. You'll be provided tools to learn and just do the job that is being asked. The main challenge in doing something on your own is you need to be mentally prepared. A lot of mental exercise.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Ambition Circuit. Today, I'm joined by my guest, Mr. Rajesh Bansal. And Mr. Bansal, I'm going to hand it over to you to give a brief overview of yourself for our viewers.
Absolutely. Thank you, Vedant, for having me. I listened to some of your earlier podcasts. It's an amazing project that you are on. Uh, Congratulations on a successful launch. My name is Rajesh Bansal. I'm co-founder and president of Quick Capital, which is a private credit platform that provides financing to lower middle market businesses. Prior to Quick Capital, I've been in institutional asset management industry where I've been involved in structured products for a long time. And before that, came here to US to do MBA after working across different countries that involved UK, China, Egypt, and that was in construction space right after my undergrad in mechanical engineering from IIT Delhi. So it's been a long journey, and I'm excited to have conversation with us today.
Awesome. Well, first off, thank you so much for your time. And it sounds super interesting. You've had a lot of career changes. So how do you adapt and thrive in so many career transitions? Going from like being in management after construction, and how do you solve the bridge?
Well, I think when someone looks at my career or looks at various roles I have taken in the past, they may seem like a lot of career transitions, right? Because as you mentioned, it was in construction, manufacturing space, then into finance. Either within finance, they started with asset management to being on an entrepreneurial route at Quick Capital. But there is a core common theme in all these different roles. Right? Well, one of the common theme in any role you take is problem solving. Now, typically, when you're good at or you're really trained to solve problems, you just need to add a couple more factors. One of them is adaptability. The other one is ability to handle adversity. So if you are someone who have been trained in dealing with adversity, right? I came from a rural background and have been had the privilege of living through very different social and economic environment that through different kind of adversity along the way. So that upbringing of that background really prepared for handling adversity. And then as we got trained to be flexible, adapt to the new environment, really be able to really get down to this that in any role, you're probably solving problem, either for the firm or for someone. Just focus on that. And if you can just rely on those fundamentals, you'll find that all these roles you can succeed. Now, it's not that you just have that. You need to learn this new things. Like every profession requires some new skills, so you train for those. You take either assignment classes or you learn from your mentors. You understand what it really requires to succeed in a specific role. So if you come back and look back at all the career transitions I had, and the latest one I'm really proud of is because it really requires entrepreneurship, really requires this adaptability and ability to handle adversity. Is you always think about how can I solve problem. You wake up and think about excited about solving different kind of problems and learn the skill, be adaptive to the environment, and just be prepared for unexpected. You'll succeed in every career you take, path you take.
So, you mentioned having a natural sense of problem solving and, being able to handle adversity and all of those kinds of things just from your life experiences and your life background. Is there a way, in your opinion, that someone can get these skills without having lived in those kinds of the circumstances?
Absolutely. It's all about making yourself uncomfortable, right? You recall you are going into economics and finance. Think about,
Yeah,
hey, I'm really excited about it, but suddenly you have to work in manufacturing. Uh, you don't know anything about it. Go figure it out how you find it. What can you do?
yeah,
The one thing I always say, and it's been really core theme in my life and success, is uh, asking for help. A lot of people shy about asking other people, like, "Hey, can you help me with this?" And my if I look at the math and do the numbers, like if you ask 10 people, 2 people will always help you.
hmm,
So you don't have to go through that experience. You just need to know who has gone through that
who
experience.
has gone through that experience. Yeah. So then, what should, since you've talked about starting something of your own and being a co-founder, what should young professionals look for, or like how should they identify whether they should work for a firm, big or small, or whether they should start their own thing?
I think that's a very personal choice, right? And it really comes down to you on your own. Uh, working at a big firm has its own advantage. It's a structured process. You know what your environment you are in. You don't need you'll be provided tools to learn, and just do the job that is being asked. And in my view, for that, self evaluation is the key, right? Because the main challenge in doing something on your own is you need to be mentally prepared. It's a
Yeah.
lot of mental
Mhm.
exercise. You need to be prepared. Are you able to handle non-linear growth? You won't be growing straight line every time.
Yeah.
Can you handle unpredictability? Right? Can you learn on your own? Can you handle chaos? And then, as I mentioned, you need to ask for help. Do you feel comfortable? A lot of people are shy about talking to other or asking something. And these are 5 things I mentioned, but you don't need all 5, right? If you are able to do 3 out of 5, then you are ready. And or you can go in a structured environment, do some time like a structured job, and prepare for those, right? Maybe you
Hmm.
are ready for one today. So
So,
my recommendation is always just do the self-evaluation, see where you are, because as Gaurav mentioned in yesterday's the last podcast was it's not easy to give up a job when you are making a significant amount of money and then
mhm,
go for this entrepreneurial route or starting your own. The inertia becomes worse and worse. So
yeah,
there is a sweet spot at some time you feel okay, now I'm ready to take that jump.
awesome. And I love that you quoted a previous episode. Looks like someone's done their homework. So, my next question would be, if you do want to start working in a big firm, competition is very high. That's one of the downsides of trying to apply for such a big firm,
Right.
especially at least in the world of finance. And so, how can someone young break into finance without necessarily graduating from, Harvard or from Yale?
Uh, I don't think you need a prestigious degree or Ivy League degree to get into finance. I work with my colleagues in my finance career from all across the country. And I don't think the degree really mattered that much. What really mattered is when I look at different places, how do you get opening is making effort, going to networking events, just making yourself available out there for people to know I'm excited about it. I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to really uh, uh, put my foot down and grind it out in the space if you give me the opportunity.
Hmm.
Make sure you have the skills, right? You cannot get in anywhere if you don't have the necessary skills. Right? You need to prepare. You can do those classes online these days. You have you have online resources to train into any skill set. But one thing you really need to do is to penetrate into is go out and meet people. They don't.
Hmm.
Like we have interns right now, we didn't know them, and they approached us, hey, we are looking for internship, can you give us an opportunity? And we
Yeah.
gave them. And I myself took first unpaid job in finance because that was the only way to get into it. So you need to be ready to make those sacrifices. The degree by itself is not the gating issue. It's about really, prepare yourself, be ready, and just like I saw you at the event before. Uh,
Yeah.
that's how we got to meet each other and got to know each other.
Yes. Yes.
Those are the kind of things you need to do. Uh, and as I said, if you ask 10 people, two will be willing to give you a chance. So
Yeah.
just ask
Always.
more people.
And that's something I've learned even while, trying to network and get guests onto the podcast. Out of 10 10 cold emails sent, always two will reply and say yes. So that's very true. You talked about younger people kind of cold emailing for internships, cold calling for internships, or even meeting people at networking events. So, what does that 60-second conversation look like? What does that email look like asking for an opportunity like that? Because it's not like, you'll go to a networking event and hand out a copy of your resume to 100 people, right?
I think it's really most important too is when you meet somebody at networking event, and I'm myself guilty of this, is not being really prepared for it. When you are going into and try to see who is coming there, if there is any way you can get a little bit of information about people who are coming, and then
Yeah.
target a couple of people you really want to talk. So that's number one, a little bit of homework.
Yeah.
Two, it's not always about asking what you want to do. It's about just have a normal conversation. Ask people what they are doing. And if there is opportunity for you to say, like, look, I'm a student, I'm just graduated, I'm looking to penetrate into this space. Do you have any idea, thoughts, insights? Rather than asking people uh, whether they have a place for you in their shop, just always ask about, hey, how can you help me? What should I do?
Yeah.
Uh, and it's not necessarily you are asking them, but indirectly you're asking them, right? You're not saying, hey, give me an internship, give an overview. You say, look, this is what I'm trying to do, this is what I'm trying to achieve.
Hmm.
And there are times like I met an intern who is really successful. I could give kudos to him at a recent networking event. This individual, uh, he was approaching people and telling like, hey, how can I help you? This is what I offer to
Oh,
help.
wow. This is what I offer. Yeah.
Right. And what he was offering me, just to give an anecdote here, is that, hey, my company is a broker dealer and they deal in the loan space and they can give you reference. And as he learned about what I was doing, so he initially asked what I do, and then he said, "Oh, I can introduce you to my boss, who boss and who will help you generate some leads." And he set up a call with his boss. So it's like this is small things like that, right? You can really make an impression. Now, he left a strong impression. If I need an intern or I need a candidate, that's the kind of candidate I would look and seek out.
You look for. Yeah. So, um, what is one financial trend that we should look for as young people trying to get, or trying to build our wealth over the next 5 to 10 years? Because maybe not everyone wants to take the route of starting their own thing. Maybe some people do want to save and invest and gain their wealth that way. So what's one concept or trend you think that younger Gen Z people should be paying attention to?
I think there are two ways in the world that happens. There are something called cyclical, there are something called structural, right? Uh, uh, just to give an idea, what that means is that uh, things that happen very quickly or cyclical, like effectively, there are seasonal businesses that go up and down in winter and summer, right? The hotel business, if you look about, is a very seasonal business. So
Hmm.
if you look at, say, 6 month revenue, and you are happening to you're in a uh, winter space and in a cold area, you may not have that much business versus just a summer business. So you may make a very biased decision just looking at a one cycle of business. And whereas if you look at structural shifts, those happen over time, right? I'm myself guilty of not following those trends because 10 years earlier, we had the opportunity to buy, say, digital assets, or you call Bitcoin, at
Yeah.
very low prices. We didn't pay enough attention to it. So miss that trend, right? We miss that opportunity.
Yeah.
Similarly, there is a lot of a trend now in energy and AI space. In my view, you just look at the flow of capital. Right? If you want to prepare for something that's 5 year or 10 years from now, just look at where the capital is going right now. Right?
Hmm.
If lot of capital going into energy space, the AI space tells you that why people think that is the one of the areas, right?
And that's what you pay
And
attention to.
pay attention to where the flow of capital is happening, not actually what is the best performing stock today, not
Hmm.
actually what the best performing sector today. These will change. If
Yeah.
you look at .com, where are the top companies, they are no longer top companies today. Nvidia is the top company. It will change, right? But what you can do is, if you're not ready for that, is just follow the ideas. What is changing? Things, productivity is changing all the time. The innovation is changing. Innovation is the key all the time. And if you go back to the our beginning conversation we had, was about adaptability, and train yourself to finding solutions for all kind of environments, right?
Hmm.
Can you apply the skills you have in a very fast growing environment, or a very slow, or think about COVID scenario, right? Where a lot of businesses had no revenue and they survived, right? Well, how did they survive? Because they were trained to handle that stress that comes with it, or difficulty that happened with it.
Hmm.
So I would say that for younger anyone going into or looking for where they should be 5 to 10 years, think about what are the areas that are really uh, potentially getting a lot of capital today for growth in future, and to just be prepared for everything that can be thrown at you.
Yeah. So, what's one habit or early lesson in your career that you think has even shaped the way you handle your business today?
So uh, uh, this is a great question, number one. I feel like when you think about various things you could do, or one habit you can have, there are a lot of things you could effectively pick from.
Hmm.
And in my view, uh, one habit that really, it's a function of your how your upbringing is, right? Your upbringing is about respecting every task. So I would say is that respecting the job, any job or any task you are doing, you need to really respect it. What do I mean by that? Right? Say I'm managing people, and there is a data entry project, people are not there. I should not take that data entry assignment as if, hey, it's below my pay grade, it's below
Yeah.
my dignity.
Yeah.
You need to really sit down, spend that data, do the respect that job. Because every job is finally someone else is doing it. So if you can't do it, that means you're not, you shouldn't be in that job where uh, you feel that the task to complete that job is below your pay grade. So there
Yeah.
is no task beneath you. That's one thing. There is also an important item that I would say we can talk a little bit more about it, is that if you are in any job or anything you are doing, spend your 10 to 20% of time learning about finding the full picture in that job.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, for example, when I was trading, or when I was making investments, the people who book the investment, who bring the cash, whose cash gets allocated, there are people who do compliance, there are people who check if it is everything is good. The 10 to 20% time I used to spend building a relationship with those different parts of this complete, what we call complete cycle, where the money comes from, how it comes, who handles that, and who are the people who are connected on the other side, and
Yeah.
building a relationship with these people who are tangentially connected to what you are doing in that 10 to 20% of your time will go a long way. Because one day you will find that, hey, someone is missing, and you feel handicapped, like, hey, I don't know how to do, because that was the only person who knew it.
Yeah.
So this kind of really habit, where I think as you go into college, really finding, in my view, someone like you is get to know knowing professors is easy, but go to library, meet the librarian, meet the other people in the lab, really find how the entire ecosystem work.
Hmm. Okay. So then your final takeaways for today would one always be capitalize on your circumstance, turn it into any learning opportunity you can. Two would be respect the work, respect the job. Don't think, any work is too low or too high because someone has to do it. So you always gain knowledge by learning it. And three would be learn the ecosystem, survive the ecosystem, and thrive in the ecosystem.
I think that's the perfect summary of things we talked about. It is about making yourself uncomfortable.
With that being said, we have another episode complete of the Ambition Circuit. Thank you so much to our guest, Mr. Rajesh Bansal. Mr. Bansal, do you have any final comments or remarks you wanted to say?
Thank you for this opportunity. It was great talking to you, and hopefully, the listener will find this beneficial.
Yep, I hope so too. Thank you guys so much for watching and stay tuned for another episode of the Ambition Circuit.